It's not just punches and kicks, it's personal. From the thrill of victory to the agony of defeat, these rivalries have left an indelible mark on UFC history. They say, keep your friends close and your rivals closer. Well, these fighters took it to a whole new level. Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions, from jaw-dropping knockouts to jaw-dropping trash talk.
Show up to this fight, and we'll do this the noble way. Pull out, and then you know what's going to happen to you back home, kid.
So, grab your popcorn, secure your seat, and join us as we dive into the biggest rivalries in UFC history. Number 10. Royce Gracie versus Ken Shamrock. We begin with the rivalry that started it all, the clash between two pioneers and Hall of Famers, Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock. Gracie and Shamrock met for the first time at UFC 1 in 1993, where Gracie submitted Shamrock in less than a minute with a sleeve choke. Shamrock was not happy with the outcome and claimed that he did not know the rules or the concept of tapping out. He demanded a rematch, which he got at UFC 5 in 1995. This time, the fight lasted for 36 minutes, but ended in a draw, as there were no judges or scoring system. Both fighters were unsatisfied and wanted to settle the score once and for all. They finally met for a third time in 2016, outside of the UFC, where Gracie won by a controversial TKO after landing a low blow. To this day, Gracie and Shamrock have not buried the hatchet and still have bad blood between them. Number 9. Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz. Liddell and Ortiz were once friends and training partners, but their friendship turned sour when Ortiz refused to fight Liddell for the title, claiming that he did not want to betray his friend. Liddell felt betrayed by Ortiz's decision and accused him of ducking him. The tension between them grew over the years until they finally faced each other at UFC 47 in 2004, where Liddell knocked out Ortiz in the second round. They fought again at UFC 66 in 2006, where Liddell repeated the feat and defended his title. They fought for a third time in 2018 outside of the UFC, where Liddell was knocked out by Ortiz in the first round, ending their trilogy. Number 8. Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen. Moving on, we have the rivalry between one of the greatest champions of all time, Anderson Silva, and one of the greatest trash talkers of all time, Chael Sonnen. Silva and Sonnen first met at UFC 117 in 2010, where Sonnen dominated Silva for 4.5 rounds, but was caught in a triangle choke in the final minutes and tapped out. They fought again at UFC 148 in 2012, where Silva knocked out Sonnen in the second round after landing a knee to the chest. Silva and Sonnen never liked each other and never showed any respect for each other, making their rivalry one of the most heated and personal in UFC history. Number 7. Ronda Rousey versus Miesha Tate. Next up, we have the rivalry between two of the pioneers of women's MMA, Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. Rousey and Tate first met at Strikeforce in 2012, where Rousey challenged Tate for the bantamweight title. Rousey submitted Tate in the first round with her signature armbar, breaking Tate's arm in the process. Rousey and Tate had a lot of animosity and trash talk before and after the fight, and their rivalry intensified when they coached against each other on The Ultimate Fighter. They fought again at UFC 168 in 2013, where Rousey defended her title by submitting Tate in the third round with another armbar. Rousey and Tate never fought again, but their rivalry remains one of the most influential and iconic in women's MMA. Number 6. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. The rivalry between two of the biggest stars and personalities in the sport, Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. McGregor and Diaz first met at UFC 196 in 2016, where Diaz stepped in on short notice to replace the injured Rafael dos Anjos, who was supposed to fight McGregor for the lightweight title. McGregor and Diaz engaged in a lot of trash talk and antics before the fight, and delivered a thrilling fight where Diaz shocked the world by submitting McGregor in the second round with a rear naked choke. McGregor and Diaz fought again at UFC 202 in 2016, where McGregor avenged his loss by winning a majority decision in a 5-round war. McGregor and Diaz have not fought since, but they have expressed interest in a trilogy fight, and their rivalry remains one of the most entertaining and lucrative in UFC history. Number 5. Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier. Jones and Cormier developed a mutual dislike and disrespect for each other, and their rivalry escalated when they fought for the light heavyweight title at UFC 182 in 2015, where Jones won by unanimous decision. Jones and Cormier fought again at UFC 214 in 2017, where Jones knocked out Cormier in the third round, but the result was overturned to a no contest after Jones tested positive for a banned substance. Jones and Cormier have not fought since, but they have continued to trash talk and challenge each other, making their rivalry one of the most bitter and intense in UFC history. Number 4. Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. McGregor and Nurmagomedov had a long history of animosity and tension, stemming from McGregor's insults and attacks on Nurmagomedov's religion, culture, and family. Their rivalry reached a boiling point when McGregor and his entourage attacked a bus carrying Nurmagomedov and other fighters at UFC 223 in 2018, injuring several people and causing chaos. They finally fought at UFC 229 in 2018, where Nurmagomedov submitted McGregor in the fourth round, and then jumped over the cage and attacked McGregor's corner, sparking a brawl between both camps. McGregor and Nurmagomedov have not fought since, but they have continued to feud and provoke each other, making their rivalry one of the most violent. Number 3. Georges St-Pierre versus Matt Hughes. St-Pierre and Hughes first met at UFC 50 in 2004, where Hughes submitted St-Pierre in the first round with an armbar, handing St-Pierre his first UFC loss. St-Pierre and Hughes fought again at UFC 65 in 2006, where St-Pierre avenged his loss by knocking out Hughes in the second round and winning the welterweight title. St-Pierre and Hughes fought for a third time at UFC 79 in 2007, where St-Pierre submitted Hughes in the second round with an armbar and defended his title. St-Pierre and Hughes had a lot of respect and admiration for each other, and their rivalry was based on skill and competition rather than hatred and drama, making their rivalry one of the most pure and classic in UFC history. Number 2. BJ Penn versus Matt Hughes. Penn and Hughes first met at UFC 46 in 2004, where Penn shocked the world by submitting Hughes in the first round with a rear naked choke and becoming the welterweight champion. Penn and Hughes fought again at UFC 63 in 2006, where Hughes avenged his loss by stopping Penn in the third round by TKO, after Penn suffered a rib injury. Penn and Hughes fought for a third time at UFC 123 in 2010, where Penn knocked out Hughes in 21 seconds, ending their trilogy. Penn and Hughes had a lot of ups and downs in their relationship, but they ultimately developed a mutual respect and friendship, and their rivalry remains one of the most epic and historic in UFC history. Number 1. Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo. And finally, we have the rivalry between two of the most explosive and charismatic fighters in the sport, Conor McGregor and Jose Aldo. McGregor and Aldo met for the first time at UFC 179 in 2014, where McGregor jumped over the cage and confronted Aldo, who had just defended his featherweight title against Chad Mendes. McGregor and Aldo embarked on a world tour to promote their fight, where McGregor taunted and tormented Aldo at every opportunity, and even snatched his belt at a press conference in Dublin. They finally fought at UFC 194 in 2015, where McGregor knocked out Aldo in 13 seconds, the fastest finish in UFC title fight history, and became the featherweight champion. McGregor and Aldo have not fought since, but they have continued to mock and insult each other, making their rivalry one of the most explosive and dramatic in UFC history. That's it for today's episode of UFC Fights. We hope you enjoyed this list of the biggest rivalries in UFC history. Which one is your favorite? Which one do you think we missed? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more UFC content. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.